Hello, I'm Rob and welcome to R&B Reviews. Today I'm joined by two special guests and they both start with the letter J. We have Justin from Dust Productions.
How you doing?
And over here we've got Jerry.
Hey, how you doing?
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you guys for coming back.
Always a pleasure.
Oh, thank you. And of course, tonight we finally got to see the Elvis movie. Now, before I came into this movie, the trailers made it look like it was going to be just an ordinary biopic.
I originally thought it was. I just saw the trailer. I didn't really do too much of a deep dive of it. So overall, yeah, that's what I thought it was. But as we can see, yeah, it went definitely a little deeper than that.
Yeah, Justin, what were your initial thoughts when you saw the trailers?
I didn't know what to expect because the trailers were all very vague, you know, and I was just wondering what aspects of his life that they were going to focus on. So,
yeah. Well, I gotta say, I was a little bit surprised by this movie. Now, for those of you that don't know, this Elvis biopic is directed by Baz Luhrmann. He directed the 2013 Great Gatsby adaptation, Moulin Rouge, and Australia. And I gotta say, this is not just, in my opinion, a biopic on Elvis. It's much more than that. It also focuses on his manager, Colonel Parker, played by Tom Hanks. And I would argue that it's a fable about fame, like when you become famous and what happens like with your personal life, with the people you know, and everything that comes with it. I really enjoyed the movie very much. I liked the themes of it. I did think that in the beginning it moved a little bit too fast, but then eventually it did slow down, and ironically towards the end I kind of felt like it was a little bit too long. It runs at 2 hours and 40 minutes, but I thought, I believe it's Austin Butler played Elvis, and he really embodied him, and I felt like I was watching Elvis. I wasn't watching an actor playing Elvis. I thought, oh my gosh, it's like Elvis is right here. We're watching him going through all this drama with his life and, well, you know, and everything. And Tom Hanks, I thought, was good. And actually, I knew almost nothing about Colonel Parker other than he was Elvis's manager. But now I'm curious about, because I want to know more about it now. But overall, I was impressed with it. Jerry, what are your thoughts on the movie?
Definitely, I really enjoyed it as well. I didn't really go into it with any preconceived notions, whether I was going to like it, dislike it. I knew a decent amount about Elvis, but like you, I didn't really know too much about his manager. I really didn't know anything. So it was kind of a surprise to me. I think both Tom Hanks and the actor who did play Elvis, like you said, it really just felt like we were watching Elvis. I think he did a fantastic job. I think Tom Hanks did a fantastic job. And overall, yeah, the movie was great. As you said, I feel it was kind of like a fable that shows what can happen when fame and wealth goes to a person's head and how people can take advantage of the famous, the wealthy, for their own gain. And it was really kind of shocking to see that happen. I know a lot of it mirrored other celebrities, you know, like Bob Ross. And it was unfortunate to see, but at the same time, it was very informative, at the same time entertaining. So yeah, I thought it was great.
Justin, what are your thoughts on the movie?
you know, I was wondering if they were going to talk about the racism thing, you know. There were people that were spreading lies saying that Elvis was racist, and in all actuality, it was just other people that were being racist, not wanting him to play like black music at all. Mm-hmm. And so like throughout the movie, you could see him always struggling with that, wanting to play the music that he loves, you know. Mm-hmm. And that's what he grew up on. Yeah. You know, it was blues and
rhythm
from the black community.
Yeah, and country. I thought this movie tackled a lot of interesting issues as well. Like, you showed me a documentary recently about, you know, about him growing up and how he embraced, you know, like you said, the blues music and everything. And then, of course, he grew up on country, and it was just a fantastic, you know, story to see that. And it gets touched on, and you also see how, as a performer, he kind of had to change himself. Like in the beginning, you know, he was this guy that was breaking barriers and doing things that hadn't been done before. And then by the late 60s, he wanted to change to go with the times. His manager didn't want him to do that. Then, of course, he went into Vegas, and then he changed himself again into something completely different, made it a little bit more rock. So it was interesting to see how his career changed over time.
Well, I mean, every artist has to do that throughout their career. They got to try and reinvent themselves.
Yeah.
But like the whole like being trapped by his manager, that happens like all the time. That happened to Tupac. You know, he wanted out of Death Row Records, and he pretty much couldn't. He had to stay where he was because he was pretty much broke. And you know, it reminded me of, you know, like he just said, "Oh, just let my manager handle everything financial. I don't want to look at that." And he just signed everything, you know, signed off on it. NWA did the same thing, not realizing it, and they didn't really make any money. And it's just like there are a lot of artists, they just put their faith in the wrong people. Most of the time, they don't survive. Only a few of them do.
It's a shame.
You know, and it, like a lot of people come to a tragic end, you know.
Yeah, and Jerry, is that what you feel too?
Definitely. Like I said before, it seemed as a big surprise when I did find that out. And it's an unfortunate turn of events, but I feel that movies like this will hopefully shed more light on these types of instances where managers do take advantage of their clientele. Or hopefully it gets to the point where this becomes so well known that things like this won't happen as much as, if often, if at all. And another point that Justin brought up with that aspect of the racism, I kind of heard that as well. But one thing that this movie showed is that he actually really did have strong ties to the black community. He had a lot of friends in that community, and it was just the music is something he was so passionate about because he grew up in that environment.
Yeah.
And I didn't know too many details about that, so that was very eye-opening. I was happy to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they did a good job explaining his overall upbringing from when he was a child up to the Elvis that we knew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know if it's accurate, but I know that in the movie, he's at a club that he loved, you know, going to, and B.B. King's playing there, and B.B. King is saying, you know, Elvis is complaining that he can't go anywhere and do anything now that he's famous, and B.B. King's like, yeah, well, I can. I can go and do whatever I want. Even there's a performer later in the movie that tells Elvis she wants him for a concert, and Colonel Parker won't let him, and she's saying, you know, a real man, you know, would make his own decision. There's been times where it gets close to that.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a very good drama. I do think it was a little bit long. I do think that maybe I thought the beginning moved a little bit too fast. It was like, okay, here's a quick lesson about Elvis's life, and eventually it did slow down.
I think they had to do it that way because there's so much.
Yeah, exactly. Because like you were saying, it was over 2 hours and 40 minutes. So if they try to like flesh out the beginning, probably end up being like 3.
If they weren't at that speed, they probably would have had to cut stuff out of the movie, and that would have been a shame. So.
Yeah. Although I did like what they did, though. Like there's a scene where like something is going on, and then you see these side scenes connected to it, like when Elvis is, you know, telling, you know, his family like what's going to happen now that he's starting to become famous, and you know, and like you see him explaining stuff, like the Colonel's talking to him, and then you see him doing that with his family while that's going on simultaneously.
That was the fastest way to tell the story.
Yeah. But overall, I would definitely recommend it. I think I would probably give this movie 4 stars. I think it's definitely great to see on the big screen, but I think it could also be something you could catch at home, you know, because of the length. Jerry, how would you rate this movie?
I would also rate it as 4 stars. It kept me entertained throughout. Like you said, sometimes it could drag a little bit, especially, you know, near the end. But overall, I think they did a great job at telling Elvis' story. It was not just entertaining, but it was also educational. I know with some of these movies, the biopics, not all of it may be accurate to what actually happened, so I'll have to look into that. But overall, I do feel much more knowledgeable about Elvis, what happened with Elvis, and especially with the Colonel. That was very eye-opening, and I'm glad I know that now.
Justin, how would you rate the movie?
I'd give it 5 stars.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was definitely worth it, and you know, I suggest watching this Elvis movie and then watch Straight Outta Compton, and you're going to see a lot of correlations.
Wow.
You know, and especially after all that time's passed, some things like still have not changed.
Man, that's unfortunate. Yeah, if you're an Elvis fan, definitely a must-see. So,
All right, well, I don't really have anything else to add. We both highly recommend this movie. great acting, very dramatic
Yes.
dramatic story, and it's something different. If you can't get into the new Jurassic World or the new Minions movie, and this is playing, I recommend it. So yeah. All right, well, guys, thank you much for watching, and Jerry, Justin, thank you guys very much
Of
for
course.
doing this, coming with me to see this movie. Greatly appreciate it.
Definitely.
I also want to give a shout out to our camera lady, Melinda. Hey. Hey. All right, well, guys, if you have seen Elvis, what did you think of it? Please post your comments in the comment box below if you have seen the movie, and tell me what you liked, what you didn't like, and if you want to check out some other movies that you can watch, whether it's in the theater or in the comforts of your own home, please check out some other movie reviews. We got all kinds of movie reviews, including new releases, contemporary reviews, classic movie reviews, and if you're interested, please hit the like button, and please hit the subscribe button. All right, thank you guys very much for watching, and again, thank you guys for being here tonight. I greatly appreciate it.
Of course.
Thank you guys. All right, take care. Thank you very much for watching.
Bye.